So here we are guys, after 2 hours temper, distal taper. Two ways of grinding. You can go freehand or you can use a jig.
I do tend to use both methods. Both have their advantages and drawbacks. So in this video I'm going to grind one side freehand and the other side with the jig. Jig is generally faster, I have to say, and very accurate, but if you're doing something like a convex grind it's much easier to do it freehand. But using a jig, if you're just getting started, I'd recommend you try a jig, because if you hold the handle whilst you're using the jig, it'll kind of give you that muscle memory that you need for holding the knife against the plating, and then all you have to do is concentrate on the pressure you need to actually get the grinding done. I'm just going to mark the blade here for my plunges.
That's kind of all I do. Just a little mark for the plunge line so I can just get it nice and accurate. Bring the belt over to give you a softer edge on the plunge. And kind of keep your finger on the blade. It kind of tells you what temperature your blade's at as well, which is good. I'll change the camera angle guys, because I think you might be better looking at it from the other side.
And when I first started I did an awful lot of grinding on just random pieces of mild steel, anything I could get hold of really, just practicing grinding my bevels.
So we're just cleaning off that decarb now. I'm kind of pushing the knife towards the edge now, because I want to bring the grind angle down towards the edge, so I'm taking more off here than I am off the spine. See, I'm about there with that now. I'm going to do this other side, but so we'll do this one on the jig. Probably see it is just quicker, you know. You can get a little bit more force on the blade as well. Check the temperature. That's about nearly there. So that is it. Now I need to tip the grind now towards the edge, so I'm going to have to change the jig.
And this is where you win out hand grinding, because you can naturally adjust that by hand, just pushing the edge towards the plating.
Right guys, I'm on my last pass with my absolute favourite belt, the Trizact Gator belt. You can see a Hamon line or an auto Hamon line in this now. The camera can pick it up, I don't know. Can you see it? Where the edge quench was. Looks really nice. Anyway, last pass. Done. I'll tell you what, for a bit of fun, should we see what the auto Hamon looks like? That really does look very nice. Very nice. So I'm going to sand this up now And I think we'll leave it with this etch finish when I've done, because it does look really cool. Right guys, I've gone 240 grit, 320 grit, 400 grit. Now I'm on the 6. It's really weird when you're sanding a knife with a differential heat treat, because you can feel the paper cutting on the spine, dragging and cutting. Then when you get over to the edge, it just skates across. Don't know if you can see that hamon, can you? That also hamon in that. It's really nice. It's got little legs coming down off the edge. You can see the ashy in it. It might be worth, you know, doing this in vinegar and giving it a quench and rub in lemon juice to just show that ashy off. I went and boiled some vinegar, put it in this tube, and it's been in about 5 minutes. That'll do. Lovely black, oh, that is hot, obviously. Nice black oxide finish on there. So let's see if we can develop the hamon. Let us see what we can do. I never throw the vinegar away, because I've been using the same vinegar for about 3 years and it just keeps working, as does my coffee when I coffee etch. Everything goes in a jar on the shelf, comes back out and gets reused, and I'll let you know when it deteriorates, because as of yet it hasn't. I've just polished it. That's kind of the best I can pull out of it. Yes, that is the best I can pull out of it. I don't know, the ashy, that ashy is kind of not picking up and won't polish. I guess it's the steel. As I say, we don't really know what kind of steel it is. Do you know something? I just like the clean finish more. That was the finish I had intended for this knife, a really nice clean finish. So I'm gonna just sand it back again with 1200 now, and then I'm just going to polish it, and that is it. And the auto hamon will come out, you'll be able to see it, but it'll just be a lovely clean piece of steel as well. When you etch the steel, it kind of leaves a bit of a raggy finish on it, and for the kitchen knife, really you just want it as clean as you can get it. Just going to clean up the spine, take them edges off there. You just gently round them over a little. I don't think the camera will pick up this hamon. It's a secret in the steel. You can see it. It just glints against the light. It's just gorgeous. But I don't want to pick it out. It will develop that hamon as the knife gets used. So this area here will go lovely and dark. Yeah, right. Let's get a handle on it, guys. I'm afraid me and my Etch-O-Matic fell out a couple of weeks ago. We had a little bit of a disagreement about the job it was doing. So, so I split the cases in half, and I just used the bolts, and yeah, it's just so much better. Just so much better. I don't think that transformer's very big. It's probably only about 7 volts or something. So my plan is to get a 12 volt transformer and make one. So I still use a little diode on the back for the deep etch, and then I put the blackened etch on when that's done. But I need to put that in a little box if I don't make another one anyway, because that wire is probably going to break off. But it just does a much better job. You haven't got that big stupid pad just getting in the way, and these little tiny pads are much easier to change and clean. Right, logo on. Blade sort of had a final 1200 drag. I just got to clear the bench. It looks like a crime scene. I've chosen a nice piece of olive wood, and I've cleaned the fronts up, and they're going to sit like yay. So I'm going to drill the holes in now for the pins. Then I'll cut it off almost to the actual shape on the bandsaw, pin it, epoxy it on. I always like to have the pins loose so that you can get some epoxy around them. If they're too tight, as you push them in, you'll just push all the epoxy out. So it's better to just have a nice loose fit like that. Get some epoxy around them. Also, I always sand them anyway, the pins, shiny brass, just to keep the surface. You've got to clean all the gunk off with acetone, and the scales as well in case they're oily. Remove any wood oil off them. And the pins, clean the pins down, clean the pins down as well. Epoxy sticks so much better when everything's clean. The epoxy set, all I've done is cut the excess of the pins off on the bandsaw, use a hacksaw, and I've just flattened them sides off, put them on the belt sander, and I've just run the whole handle around the grinder just to remove the timber sort of flush with the tang. And I'm going to shape it now, and what I will do is I will mark it on the underside, because that is the side that I will put on the grinder to bring the profile in. If I mark it on there, then I'm going to kind of have to hold it, and you can be tilty tippy, but at least that way you can, because it's square, you can hold it on the table and run it along the grinder face. Now this handle, I want it tapering in at the front, just, you know, for when you're holding it, because it wants to be almost a pinch grip onto the blade there. So I'm going to really take it down. What I do, I just kind of finger gauge where I want to be, about there. I'll put that line on each side. Obviously every knife is different. If it was a kind of hunting knife or a box cutter or a filleting knife, you just kind of try and grind your handle for its intended use, you know.
So I keep my old worn out belts, such as 36 grit, 40 grits, 60 grits. I keep them for sanding handles, because they do that job perfectly well when they'll no longer grind steel. And be careful when you are sanding handles that you don't get the pins too hot. Brass pins suck in heat, and it will burn the epoxy, it will ruin your epoxy, and it can also blacken the wood around the pin if you're not careful.
That's about much as I'll do there, just that. The balance is lovely, just exactly where it should be, right on the ricasso. All I'm going to do really is just smooth this out now. It's a very simple handle. Clean the pins and just round the back over. I'm down to 400 grit now, all around the handle. This is a natural, just a natural wood, it's not stabilised, nothing. So the handle's going to be oiled. And when I put the oil on, it'll raise the grain of the wood. So I'm going to wet it to raise the grain, and then I will sand it down again.
And I'll keep sanding right down to 1200 grit, just to give a real fine finish and apply any filler that I need at the same time.
That's just off the straight buffer, no compound on it, nothing, just the cotton mop. And what it does, it closes the grain up and kind of seals it, so that's just timber without anything on it. And get some oil on, protective coating on that, and you're good to go. And this is it, where the beauty comes out. I'll just keep putting this on now until it builds up. On untreated timber, it's usually 4 or 5 coats, but I like to put enough on the initial coat so that it just soaks into the wood. Leave it about 4 minutes, 5 minutes, and then I just wipe it off, the excess off. And in half an hour I will give it another coat. And that is it. The olive has come out really nice on it. The balance is just beautiful on the knife. Just absolutely perfect. It's a lovely little slender handle. Will it cut? I'm not doing a sharpening video, guys, because I've already done one. It will cut. Cut beautifully. Nice for slicing and dicing. So what do you think of the knife? I like it. I'm sure the lady it's going to will love it. Leave a comment down below. If there's any kind of knives you'd like to see me make, or anything really weapon wise or whatever, just leave a comment below. I'm always interested to see what type of videos you would like. If you want any more tutorials on knife making, leave a comment below. Okay guys, so that's it. Thanks for watching. Thank you patrons, thank you subscribers. Leave a comment below. Nicht aufhören. Ist alles.